What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna do my best to keep this video review short because we literally have another chapter tomorrow. It's so strange seeing Kaiju releasing a chapter week to week. There is no word on whether Matsumoto is going to maintain a week-to-week schedule either, but I assume it's going to go back to bi-weekly after next week's chapter, so y'all better enjoy it while it lasts, as far as I'm concerned. After a month-long break from Kaiju number 8, we are finally jumping back into the tail end of the war arc, where things are getting aggressively out of hand for the Defense Force. The situation is not looking good for our heroes. The villains are beginning to win again, and we finally got insight into Kaiju number 9's endgame and potential threats in the future after Kaiju 9 is defeated. So let's take a few steps back. Last chapter left us off with a cliffhanger. We were unsure what was going to happen on the battlefield now that Kaiju 9 pulled up on Mina like he's Phoenix Wright and proceeded to call the squad down from the heavens to attack pretty much any place you can think of. The potential for Mina to be killed skyrocketed, so in this chapter we get to see things in the story progress a bit more. Maybe not as much as some people wanted because of the month-long wait, but I think quite a few things happened that raised some new questions and cleared some things up. First thing I want to point out about this chapter is that the author, Matsumoto, doesn't focus heavily on gruesome deaths like in other manga such as Attack on Titan or Jujutsu Kaisen, but instead mainly focuses on action and character interactions. I've seen people say that the stakes in Kaiju number 8 can sometimes feel low, and I'd argue this is mostly a symptom of him not really focusing on the death aspect when it comes to slaying Kaiju. But the first two panels shows that the death toll the Defense Force is taking is really beginning to ramp up. Like, make no mistake, these are all Defense Force troops being killed in these explosions right now, also including however many civilians that remained in the city. Case in point, 9 tells Kafka that he'll never make it to him in time to stop him, because he can't abandon the civilians in the areas that are being attacked. He learned about Kafka's proclivities very early on in, I would say, chapter 19. This is a strategy that 9 has been building against Kaiju number 8 for a very long time. And this might sound weird because he's the villain, but I honestly hope he does even more damage for all of the calculating and meticulous planning that he's really put into this. Kaiju number 9 and prep time is frightening, I ain't gonna lie, but I do think that we should hang on to those words for later on in the arc, because I do think that at some point, in order to beat Kaiju 9, Kafka may very well end up having to abandon something important to him. That quote honestly feels like foreshadowing to me. I also want to point out the futility of the situation the Defense Force kind of finds themselves in right now. At first, I thought this might actually be a plot hole because Kaiju 9 can just revive all of the dead Daikaiju at will, with or without their cores still being intact. So how could Kafka possibly take them all out and just walk away, right? They'd simply just get revived right after he takes one down. That is, unless the theory that fans have been cooking up for a minute now is true, and my boy does have the innate ability to stop any form of cellular regeneration, in which case Kafka can easily take these Daikaiju down and keep them down. But that's not necessarily the case for everyone else. If anyone else tries to take down one of the white Daikaiju, the possibility is there that they'd just be resurrected by 9. As for Kaijus 11 through 15 being revived too, I don't think any of them are returning. I'm assuming that number 9's revive ability only works on Kaijus that aren't numbered class Kaiju. The way Kaiju 9 is just playing on Kafka's emotions is deliciously underhanded, and I love it. This manga's hype always jumps up when number 9 starts making his moves. Speaking of, Kaiju 9 is locked in on Mina, and she was actually out there doing her thing. I'm not surprised that she's capable, but I am surprised by her mobility. She is legit bobbing, weaving, and cartwheeling her way around the map like she's got speed hacks. Like I said, I knew she was capable as the top captain in the Defense Force, but the fact that she seemed so reliant on Bako for maneuverability made me think that speed might have been a major weakness of hers. It's definitely a major feat for someone to be able to pull off perfectly dodging 9's finger bullets And keep in mind, this is with his new Kaiju number 2 stat buff. She's also able to destroy 9's shielding in about 3 pistol rounds. We've got no idea how big that feat is though, because this is the first time we've ever seen 9 use Kaiju number 2's shield. Honestly, I didn't even know Kaiju number 2 could do that. I don't remember Isao pulling out a shield during his fight with 9. Maybe he did and I'm just, I don't know, drawing blanks. But yeah, who knows whatever other tricks Kaiju number 9 has to pull out the bag. I was actually thinking that this might go better for Mina than I thought. But as soon as that thought crossed my mind, 9 closed the distance, because when it comes to CQC, Mina gets a stat debuff. Homie just smacks the gun out of her hand and snatches her up.
Gonna be breathing out of both nostrils this season.
You can see Mina is just dangling there about to get smurfed. Now this is where 9 might have messed up, because when you are close to your goal, you do not monologue. He is committing the same crime that Kaiju number 11 did. Like, why even bother talking, bro? Don't play with your food. But at least now we know what his endgame is. Kaiju number 9's plan is to take down Tokyo, then using Tokyo as a base of operations above ground, he then plans to use Mina's power by adding it to his own and buffing the power levels of the Daikaiju that he can create. Afterwards, he will create more numbered Daikaiju to destroy mankind. Now that sounds so cliche and unoriginal, but I actually think that there is more to it than just that one goal. You see, earlier in the chapter, 9 kinda let something very intriguing slip when he was conversing with Kafka. He specifically made mention of Kaiju number 8 being the strongest Kaiju after himself above ground. The keyword there is above ground. We know that Kaiju are born somewhere beneath the deep seabed where the Earth's tectonic plates connect. This seems like a major hint at the possibility of there being other Kaiju below ground that are far stronger than both Kaiju number 8 and 9. And this was a hint that many people in the community have been waiting for, myself included. We've all been wondering just how much further can this manga actually go. There was a ton of speculation on whether or not Kaiju 9 was in fact going to be the final boss of the overall manga, so to speak. To me, there were a few possible routes Matsumoto could have gone with this. Either 9 escapes at the end of the arc along with Mina's power to live on and wreak havoc another day. Either he is killed and the manga actually does in fact end, although I absolutely doubted the manga would end so soon, since it's still selling incredibly well and tops the charts upon the first week of a new volume release, so I didn't see it going anywhere. Then the last option was to hint at other threats that are outside of Kaiju 9 so that the world building had a clear path. So the above ground comment from Kaiju 9 seems to be the latter option. So let me say this, I absolutely love Kaiju number 9, and it's because I like him as a villain so much that I don't want to have him overstay his welcome with the fan base. I personally want him to be taken care of by the end of this arc, but I want whatever he does in the next few chapters to continue to have a lasting impact on the world of Kaiju number 8 and our heroes as this series progresses. We still have so many questions that have to be answered. Plus, now we have hints of new upcoming threats on the horizon. It's hard not to be excited to see where Matsumoto is about to take this story. He just has to stick the landing. Given how the chapter ended, I'm expecting either Reno or Kikoru to show up and save Mina's life. That would be predictable, and I will say if he just straight up takes her out next chapter, I would be shocked. Most people want it to be Reno, and believe me, I know. Reno has been missing in action for way too long, fam. When he shows up, he has to pop off and flex. He absolutely has to. Anything less would be Matsumoto fumbling the bag in the worst way. But I think Kikoru will get there first. To explain why I think Kikoru might beat him there first is because she still needs her shot at Kaiju 9 for killing her father. She does have Kaiju number 4's speed at her disposal, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for her to get there, say, before someone like Narumi or Hoshina. The main reason why I'd want her to show up before Reno is because of what I said earlier. Reno has to show up and flex, and I would hate to see him show up and just be a boss for like 2 or 3 chapters only to end up getting packed up by Kaiju 9. That would still be less than a stellar way to show off his new growth after all of this time. It's been a whole year, dog. Let my boy live. I'd rather see him pull up on Kafka with Iharu in tow or something, have the two of them take some of the pressure off of Kafka and free him up to head straight after Kaiju 9. That's ideally the way I personally want these next few chapters to go. Let Reno diamond dust the army of white Daikaiju or something. Real ones will get that reference. If you haven't been keeping up with Kaiju number 8's anime, definitely check out the new trailer, the main trailer. I'm very excited for it. It's the anime that I am looking forward to the most next year. The third trailer just released during last week's Jump Festival 2023, and it looks so much better in motion than those key visuals let on. In all honesty, I really hope they stop showing those key visuals in the conditions that they are. I don't think the animators are doing their own work any favors, especially considering it looks much better when it's, you know, actually animating. Anyway, that wraps up all of my thoughts on the chapter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like this kind of content, then click the thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also hit the bell to stay notified when I drop more content such as this. Alright, I'll catch you guys on the next video. God bless. Peace.